My sweet, lovely Aries, this is your horoscope for July 2025. Now, July will be epic month because we have big thing going on in July too. In general, this 2025 is a whole shifting year. It is showing it's sort of a window, like a window into our next 15 to 20 years, how it's gonna unfold itself. So take advantage of 2025 to see how your life, which direction is taking you actually. Now, my dear Aries, July, will make you focus on several parts of your life, especially your career as well, and how you feel joyful, and it's about your children too. Literally, and also children as, your, let's say, projects or work, this kind of, some personal works that you are doing behind the scenes and that you're trying to show to the world. Now, let's begin with Uranus. 7th of July, one of the biggest news in astrology. Uranus is moving into your third house. Now, this is a slow moving planet. It's changing signs. It's also rare. And, you know, um, when this kind of planets, they change signs, they are very strong when they are like in and out, in between the two sides. So all July and already end of June, you might already start feeling Uranus's messages. In astrology, Uranus is one of the planets that you can almost certainly pinpoint life event when, like, a sort of a clock. It's a most accurate clock in astrology. You have to come, like, check your Uranus movements if you want to see what kind of events and things were happening in your life. Now, it's changing sign. Uranus change sign every 7 years. As I said, it's a slow moving planet, and 7 years it was in your financial house, giving you sort of an MBA lesson how to earn money, how to diversify that money. Most of you guys, most probably in the last 7 years, switched totally to some new type of earning incomes, like becoming influencers or working with some sort of new technology, because Uranus is about technology. Uranus is about internet and IT service. All these areas were blooming for you, my dear Aries, last 7 years, to earn more money. Now Uranus is moving into your seventh house, and again, Uranus will stay until November 8th. So, whole pretty much autumn and summer, the second half of summer, first half of autumn, it is giving you preview of what's to come next 7 years, beginning from April 26, 2026. So it will retrograde at some point. It will go back into your second house after November 8th to to finish up, to give you some sort of prizes and to finish up some things there, and let you also to finish and wrap up things in your financial sector, and before moving for the next 7 years into your third house. So use this window. Here is gonna be a window opening of what's Uranus to is gonna bring to you, in coming 7 years. Now Uranus will stay until August 3rd, 2032. So that's how long it's gonna occupy your third house of learning. Like, it's a skills house, house of skills, house of courage, how to take up courage. Now Uranus is a shaky planet. It's a planet of thunder. It's a planet of shocking surprises, moments, and electricity. So it's sort of electric, like a beam, like sort of charge. You never know when it's gonna like boom into your face. So it has a lot of surprises, and it usually brings all of a sudden changes in that part of your life. So expect something related to your personal project, which is related more or less to communication, how you speak, how you communicate, how you deliver your ideas. Maybe it's writing. Maybe next 7 years you're gonna come out as a writer. You never know, what the universe is gonna hold for you. Let's say with Uranus in the third house, for example, you've never written anything, and let's say you are not a big fan of writing in general, but believe me, next 7 years you might come up with some sort of stories to share in a form, in any shape or form, actually maybe in the form of a book or an article or research or even singing. Third house is about skills. You might find out in yourself some skills that you never knew that you possess, or you might develop them. You will have whole 7 years there. It will transform it. Plus, third house is all those uh, close people, close circle with whom you communicate daily. And Uranus will change it greatly. It will change what kind of people surrounding you, what kind of friendships you have, completely to a new one. And most probably those people will be from all sorts of different walks of life. Even, for example, if you gather them on your birthday, you will be surprised how diverse they are, but at the same time they are, and even not blending, let's say, but then when you gather them up at some space, you will see how different friends and the people you have in general in your life. You might figure that out in the next 7 years. Now, in general, I will make a whole separate video on Uranus in your third house, so stay tuned for that. You don't want to miss it. Uranus takes 84 years to make a whole circle around the zodiac. So it means, Uranus was in your third house. It was last time during First World War. Can you imagine? From 1941 until 1949. So this is something new for us to experience. Uranus in your third house. So make sure to subscribe and wait for that video, because there we will talk more in detail and how this Uranus is going to shape your skills, your surrounding and close friendships, and also your sibling relationships. Now let's move with the July forecast. July 10th, we have full moon in your career house. Now, right at the beginning, you see universe is making you focus on your skills, and then July 10th we are hitting your career house, which is happening at 18 degrees, meaning those of you who are born 7th of April plus or minus 5 days, you will be affected the most. And if you especially have something around 18 degrees of any sign, actually, because that full moon will be making an aspect to whatever you have there, whatever placement you have there. Now, full moons are about conclusions. They conclude things, they end things, or they bring some topic to light that you need to put attention in your life. Now, it's amazing full moon. It's happening in your most highest point in your chart. Now, 10th house is career house. It's where we are visible, where everyone else is looking at us, something achieving, like you might achieve, finally get something like a career ladder, climb the career ladder, for example, a position or promotion, or maybe you wanted to change completely your career. You might actually quit at this full moon. If this is conclusion, then it might play out as a quitting your job, for example, or like finishing some sort of career. and going to retirement as an example, or maybe just switching something there to completely different. And Mars, which will support amazing ways that full moon, will be in your house of work. So for you, my dear Aries, it's completely might be about this job situation that you do. And Mars is your ruler. Your ruler will be supporting you during this full moon, my dear Aries. For some of you, it might be about health situation. If you say that it's not about my job, it's not about my career, then it might be about your well-being. Sixth house is where we are, because Mars also rules all things sharp, like medical knives too, including, and it's in your house of health. For some of you, if that means something which is related to surgery, or let's say getting back some results from your doctors, like diagnosis. So don't worry on that. This full moon might bring positive news because it's happening amazing. Beautiful full moon is happening here. It's a super powerful one. Ruler of this full moon, Saturn, will connect with Neptune. Now these two, they will be a whole this year together, going back and forth between your sign and the sign they were before. So it's your 12th house and your first house, and the full conjunction, exact conjunction, will happen only next year, but this year they will be still very close to each other, tied together in an aspect, and they will receive amazing boost from Pluto and Uranus. Now those two will be supporting, and the ruler of this full moon, Saturn, with in Neptune in your first house. Now Pluto will be in your 11th house of friendships, and Uranus will be in your house of skills. Again, you see, this 11th house where Pluto is shaping your future, is like shaping your desires, your wishes, what kind of wish and vision you hold for yourself, for your future life. And Uranus will be shaping your third house of skills. So it seems like you will find the way. Here, universe will be blinking, sort of will be twinkling, let's say, giving you hints what kind of skills you will need to get to that point where you want to be. For example, if you want to be a influencer, then it might be like how to become a blogger, or how to make marketing, or how to shoot content, all these kind of skills. So, and it will come to you as easy as possible, my dear Aries. During this full moon, you will get very much positive experience. You might get about your future path. Now, it could be also related to your friendship circle. There might be some new friend coming into your life, or something big happening in your friend's life. Let's say, for example, they are, I don't know, maybe you and your friend opening some business together, or you're coming up, teaming up on some sort of project. Something which is like dear to your heart is coming to fruition during this full moon, my dear Aries. This one is amazing one. Now, if you say it's not about me, it doesn't sound like me, it might be about your father's life, not about yours, and it will influence you automatically. Could be your father's, or could be your manager's life, like someone who you respect and obey, or maybe your grandfather. So it seems like in their life might be something going on which is positive again, and which will affect you too. Now, about this, Saturn and Neptune that are in your sign, my dear Aries, let's talk about them a little bit, because they will also, both of them will go retrograde. You see, as I said, they will be all together all this year and going back and forth between your sign and the previous sign. Now, July 4th, we have Neptune going retrograde, moving backwards, means until end of the year almost, 10th of December 2025. And it will, of course, move back into your 12th house on October, and will be back into your sign already for the next 14 years in January 2026. Now, if you've missed my video about Neptune in your sign and also Saturn in your sign, where I've given detailed predictions for your sign and all 12 signs, go check on my YouTube. Make sure to check those videos too. Now, in Saturn, July 13th will, repeat the same after its brother, will go backwards until November 28, 2025. Now, Saturn, when it will be going backwards, it will move back into your 12th house too, already on 1st September, and will come back into your sign on Valentine's Day 2026. Now, both of these planets, you see, they are in your sign, but they are going retrograde. Now, they are a bit slowing down, but then still they are in your sign, and they are whole summer. They will be showing you what's to come next, 14 years, let's say, in case of Neptune, and next 3 years in case of Saturn. Now, having, Saturn going over your sun because you were born, let's say, Aries, or if going over your ascendant, because this is more for rising sign predictions, and also moon sign, right? It's always a bit of stress, let's say. Saturn is a bit of a malefic planet as it's considered in astrology, but I love it. I love Saturn because it gives concrete lessons. It hardens you, but it gives you exact those tools and exactly that roller coaster that you need to go through so that you achieve things and you get things done. Now, these two planets will be retrograding in your sign. Something might come to pause, like beginning from July, you might start reflecting on yourself, your plans, your priorities, because it's first house. It's about your appearance, how you look, how your reactions as well. It's first house. And also it might be that you might change your name, or if you are, like, say, representing a brand, you might go back to previous name, for example, brand name, or you will be brainstorming all this time how to better come up with the new, let's say, brand name, as an example, if it's your business situation. But anyhow, these two planets will put to some personal projects some pause so that you will work a bit more on them. July 18, Mercury, our lovely Mercury, going retrograde second time this year. Mercury retrogrades 3 times per year usually. Now this is its second retrograde, which will happen in your house of true love and also house of joy for 3 weeks until August 11, 2025. Mercury will go retrograde. Now, during Mercury is not advisable to sign any big and important crucial papers, and also not advisable to do any plastic surgeries as well, or to buy expensive things, because, and also during Mercury retrograde, better to double check all the details, especially if you're traveling and booking some things. In general, Mercury rules all those things, data, it rules numbers, it rules all the information, communication. So all sorts of mess ups happen during Mercury retrograde, and it's happening in your 5th house, now house of true love. Your, let's say, ex-boyfriend or girlfriend might get into contact, or you might have a temptation to contact them. Now, while it might be amazing to reconnect, but then it's not advisable to again start the relationship, because when Mercury retrograde is done, you might realize why you actually stopped the relationship in the first place. So better hold yourself during Mercury retrograde in your fifth house. Now, also, it will send you all sorts of paperwork. It might be related to your kids as well, fifth house, and also it's about business, especially those of you who are business owners. Seems like Mercury retrograde will give you quite a lot of time to a bit go into retrospective motion and to reassess where you are taking this business, which direction, let's say. July 23rd, we have now, first half of July is amazing. It's perfect, and it's like a lot of going on there, and energies are good, blending with each other. But second half of July, now we come to the part where it will get a bit difficult. It's a bit bumpy part of the month because we have Mars, 23rd of July, connecting with South Node. Now, in your house of work. Now, South Node and North Node, lunar nodes, they are newly in your house of health, which is, sixth house, and house of subconscious mind, past lives, which is in your 12th house. North Node is in your 12th house. And Mars is, such an action planet. It's your ruler, and it's like, let's get things done kind of planet. And when it moves over this kind of nodes, lunar nodes, or any other planet, it immediately electrifies it, it activates it. So in this case, Mars will activate your South Node together with North Node, because it will oppose that North Node, because South Node and North Node, they are always in opposition. And again, I have a whole separate video on that. If you've missed that, go check on that, because they changed sign already back in January this year. So you will find on my channel if you search. Now, Mars, when it will connect with South Node on July 23rd, it will make exact aspect also with Venus, its lover. Now, Venus is planet of love and beauty, but it won't be happy, sort of. Venus will not be happy with Mars, and Venus will be situated in your house of skills, house of communication, and it will make exact square aspect to both your South Node and North Node. And because South Node is conjunct with Mars, it will have sort of argument with its lover. So you see here some sort of information might pop up, which is not a great one. Some sort of news. You might not like that news. And also, try to control your emotions here too, because Venus will be in your communication sector, and in a heated argument, you might say some things that you will later regret. So here, bite your tongue, my dear Aries. Try to control your emotions by the end of July. Everyone, each of us will get some sort of, into a bit of a dark spot, but we will come out as winners. No worries on that. Just squeeze this time. End of July will be hard for everyone, not only for you. And July 24th, next day, we have new moon, which is a bit difficult. New moon to navigate, which will happen in your house of joy, house of children. Now, those of you who are born in the beginning of Aries season, around 22nd of March, plus or minus 5 days, you will be affected the most because it's hitting your second degree. Now, this new moon is new energy, so something slowly unfolding, but then it will take time to resolve. Now, new moons are affecting us next 2 weeks until full moon happens, so there should be some story going on, which won't be urgent, but then it will require some nerves to settle down, because this new moon will have opposition from Pluto. Now, Pluto is a planet of transformation, which will be situated in your house of friendships and wishes and future. And when Pluto opposing that tender new moon, it's always not an easy sort of energy to feel. And Pluto rules your money house. Again, some sort of thing going on here. It might be related to your kids. You might need to pay attention to your children more around this time. Something might be going on, especially maybe it might be related to their studies or to their future. You might require sort of financial. They might require financial help, for example, or something to settle down there related to their future. Or maybe it's the thing that you want them to be part of. Let's say going to some expensive club, I don't know, or horse riding or some sport club, but then you will require some money there. Fifth house is also house of business. Not advisable end of July to open business, plus Mercury will be retrograding. Not a good time to open and to sign any papers here. Again, and if you sign something, try to go through those papers with your lawyer or with someone who's knowledgeable. Now, good news is that Saturn and Neptune, which is in your first house, they support that new moon, which will amazingly, influence this new moon's energies. So it will come as a bit of a mix. Seems like you will still have your inner stamina and belief that everything will work out. So trust that belief, my dear Aries, and whatever happens, try to tackle it with a lot of patience, because Saturn in your first house is teaching you to be patient, teaching you to slow down, to look more like behind the veil than it seems, let's say, of whatever situation that will be going on there. Your house is also house of love, true love, especially those you are like dating. You just start dating. Now here will be some situation again related to that person, and that situation will be sticky, sort of not a good one. You might not like that situation, but you will have the power to say no to whatever you don't like, my dear Aries. This was your horoscope for July. Always check your rising sign and moon sign. Love you all. Bye bye.